these particular concepts right now, what we are going to discuss. Okay, BI related concepts. So in order to design your BI database also, designing the BI database is nothing but your modeling part. In order to do the modeling, in order to understand the modeling, you need to understand these concepts. Right? By understanding these concepts, you can move on to BI database design. That is what is how is your cube, that external star schema and all. That will be discussing after understanding the concept that we are going to discuss right now. Now the first concept under this, what we are going to see is called info objects. What is the first concept that we are going to see is called as? So earlier I said info object is nothing but what? It's same as a field. So when it comes to the source, we call them as a field. When it is in R3 also I said a table consists of a number of fields or entities. Right? Same way when I speak about BI, what is that we call as info object. Just only to distinguish the applications, we are using a different name. What is the name that I am going to use is info object. Yeah. So when you speak about R3, when I say info object, that's nothing but I am speaking about BI application. When you say field, that's nothing but we are speaking about R3 application. Just by the name you can differentiate which application you are referring to. Now let us say, imagine I have given some data like this. Okay. Suppose I have some data like this in R3. Okay, suppose something like date of transaction. R3 data is stored in the form of a table session. So let us say I have a table like this, customer number, material, then what is the price of this material. These are all your fields, okay? Unit of price, quantity, then its unit, then revenue, and its unit. Suppose I have some data like this. Now this data, now I need to extract it into BI side. We need to extract it into what? BI side. So first what you have to do? You have to do your modeling, right? So in the modeling, I need to develop my target, right? Where exactly you want to load data into BI system, the target I need to develop. So now your basic modeling starts with defining of what? Actually I need to say fields, but we are using a different terminology. What is that now? So the modeling starts with what? The modeling starts with defining what? Info objects. Okay, the basic modeling starts with defining the. Now here, how many fields are there? Let us say 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So totally I have 9 fields in my source. That means that how many info objects you need to create in BI file now? Yeah. Again, it may vary according to your requirement. Suppose I need not extract any price data to the BI side. Do you need to create these info objects in BI now? When price is not there, I don't want it. Unit also. Right? Suppose that means how many info objects you have to create now? 7. Suppose imagine there is no data of revenue in the source. Source has only 7 fields. But while loading into BI, I want an extra info object called revenue, and its value should be what? Price multiplied by quantity. Price into quantity it has to do, and it has to put it into Just to put it into 7. So at that time, how many info objects you have to create now? 8. So understand the logic. So now see what is your first step. Okay, you can use some space. Okay, here you can write steps of modeling. So now we are discussing one concept here, and we'll add one step under modeling. Okay, steps of. So now what is your first step of modeling now? First one is to identify the, what is it? Identify the number of info objects to be created in BI. First, any modeling that you start, let us say I want to create one info cube or anything. First you need to understand how many info objects I need to. Okay? The basic step of modeling starts with identification of number of info objects to be created, to be defined in BI side. Clear? Right. Next. So second one is, what is that we are seeing is types of info objects. Types of info. So info objects are basically categorized into 4 types. Info objects are categorized into what? 4 categories. So normally, suppose, forget about BI side, any application you consider, suppose you want to develop your database, what you will do? Through the coding only you are developing. So how you declare now? Let us say, we will be declaring like this, right? Data, let us say customer number of type, C, and I will be giving some length. This is how you declare, na? So type what? Character. So that is now one type of field. Suppose, let us say you want to declare something called price. Okay, same thing, data, price of type. What will say? Currency. That is through coding. But here, BI side, you are not doing any coding. It's all menu-driven options. The code is automatically generated by system itself. That means while creating itself, you have to specify what type of info object that you want. So same way, like this. So when it comes to BI, your objects are categorized into not only BI, any of your application you consider, your objects are categorized into 4 types. But maybe the naming convention may change from one application to another. So right now what is that naming you are seeing is the naming convention of BI. So first one is called characteristics, characters. So let us say first type of info object is what? Characters. Next one is called key figures. Next one is called unit characters. And last one is called time characters. So info objects are basic categorizations 4 types: characters, key figures, unit, and here. How many types of info objects are there? 4 categories. Now, you came to know that you need to create 9 info objects. Now, what is your next step? Now, out of these 9, which has to be created as? Which has to be created as? Characters, which has to be created as key figures, which has to be created as unit, and which has to be created as time. Understand the logic? Suppose I need to create an info object called date of transaction in BI side. Now, should I create it as a character, or a key figure, or a unit, or a time? So now, what is your step 2 of modeling now? First, you understood how many info objects you want. Then what is that now? You need to identify each info object has what type it has to be created. Okay, you need to identify each info object as what type to be, it has to be created. Okay, you should know, alright? I need to create 9 info objects. Out of 9, which has to be defined as characters, which has to be defined as key figures, units are. So how do you identify it? Now based on the definitions that we are going to see right now. So now first, what is that now? We are going to understand. Let us say we are going to understand now what? Key figures. Okay? First we will see what is right. What is key figures here? The objects which we analyze in the reports. The objects which we analyze in the reports has to be defined as what? Key figures. Excuse me. Okay, the objects which we analyze in the reports. So you need to define them as what? Key figures. So the things which we are going to analyze in the reports, and what is actually? Key figures are the measurable objects. What are key figures? They are the key figures are the measurable objects. The things which we can measure, the things which we can analyze, they have to be defined as what? Key figures. Key figures are what now? See? Measures. So now observe. Now, in this, can you tell me what are the things that I can measure or that is I can analyze? Can I analyze customer number? Now, what is an analysis like? Now, I want to know, let us say, who is the top customer, either C1 or, can I measure C1 or C2? Forget about entire data. Just see only C1 and C2, tell me who is the top customer. Can you measure that? I cannot measure that, right? What about material? No. What about price? Can I measure now? This is highest, this is lowest. So that means, can I measure price? That means while creating this price, you have to define it as what? Key figure. Okay? Clear now? Then, same way, what about the unit? Can I measure unit? I cannot measure any unit. What about quantity? Can I measure it? So that means, again, that also has to be defined as what? And what about revenue? Revenue also can be measured. So that means, so while defining these three in the BI side, you have to define them as what? You have to define them as what? Key figures. The things which you are analyzing, which you measure, which you can measure, they has to be defined as what? Key figures. The objects which we can measure, which we can analyze. Understand the logic? What are key figures is? And as I said, the key figures are the measurable objects. And what is that? Key figures are always what? Yes, they are always numeric. Key figures are always so now, is price is a numeric value or not? What about quantity? Clear? So key figures are always numeric. And don't get confused. Wherever you see a number, I cannot call it as a key figure. Suppose here customer number itself, instead of my data C1 and C2, imagine it is 1 and 2. And my customer number, what is that I am assigning is? Now can I measure this customer number? Or let us say a phone number. It may be a numeric value. It may be a, but can I measure it? Can I measure it? No. So that means it is not a key figure. So normally, so when you speak about key figures, you can say like this, they are nothing but like your KPIs, key performance indicators of the company. How do you measure the performance of an industry, of an enterprise? What is the sales? What is the profit? What is the cash inflow? What is the cash outflow? Right? What is the stock available in the inventory? So they are the key KPIs, key performance indicators of the company. So whenever you want to, what exactly a report means? This is for analysis purpose. What you analyze in the inventory report? What is my sales? What is my profit? What is my growth in terms of percentage? Right? Clear? So all these are nothing but your key figures. Right? So yesterday you have seen something called net value. That is again a key figure, or let us say salary, balance, right? Amount. All these are what? The key figures. So now the things which you are going to analyze in your report, you have to define them as key figures. Basically, they are the measurable objects, measures. So normally, if someone has idea about BO, so business objects you call measures. So that measures here nothing but key figures. Understand now? Clear? Right. Clear? What is key figures is clear? The things which we can analyze in the reports, the things which we can measure in the reports, they are nothing but your key figures. Any doubts with this key figures part? Clear? Right. So next come to characters. Next is what? Now let us say I am analyzing revenue. What is that I am saying? Revenue is what? 200. Okay, revenue is 200. Okay. Now I am analyzing revenue. Is this analysis is complete? What is missing over there? So which product, or let us say which customer? So let us say customer number C1 has generated revenue of 200. That means you are analyzing the revenue with respect to what? Right. So now suppose, let us say quantity. Quantity is analyzed with respect to what? Material. Or let us say price is also with respect to what? Material. So on what basis we are going to analyze the key figure? Right? On what basis you analyze the key figure? The basis for analysis of a key figure is nothing but a character. Let us say sales. Sales is a key figure. Sales with respect to what? It may be day-wise sales, or month-wise sales, or year-wise sales, or it may be product-wise sales, or material-wise sales, or customer-wise sales, or region-wise sales, or distributor-wise sales, All these are characters. So any data arising, if you idea, so I think, detail, sorry, dimension. That is nothing but your character. And the way you are analyzing your key figure is nothing but your character. So, what is character now? Okay. On what basis we analyze the key figures? On what basis we analyze the key figures? Are nothing but what? Characters. Okay, the basis for analysis of a key figure is nothing but what? Is a character. So, we are measuring here, and if you can observe, the basic categorization is only two. Characters and this is what? Unit character, and they are also characters only, right? Unit character as well as they are also characters only. But we have subdivided characters into unit and time. Why? Because these values are standard. Suppose unit means rupees means, suppose, how do you represent rupees? Always it is in terms of INR. Globally, anywhere across the globe you go, rupees means it's always INR represent. These are all global standards, right? Dollars means it's always USD. That's why we are separately categorizing it as a unit character. And let us say when you say date also, again it's also like global YYYY store. It's again like a standard. That's why it is called as a time character. Ultimately, unit character or time character is again the characters only. I am analyzing the sales. Sales with respect to what? Day-wise sales or month-wise or year-wise. Again, that's a time character only. Understand? So, what is characters now here? In this case, it is customer number. So, while defining them, you have to define them as what? Characters. On what basis you analyze your key figures? Like the reason, customer, dealer, material, vendor, product, date, all those are all characters only. The things which you can measure is key figures. Other than this, all characters. But hold on, under characters you have again unit and time characters. Okay? Right. Any doubts with the characters? Next. So next is, what we are going to see is unit characters. So same thing, suppose, what is that now you are saying, customer number has generated a revenue of 200. Customer number C1 has generated a revenue of, what is that now I am saying? So is this analysis is complete? Does it make any sense? Is something missing over there? Now what is this 200? Whether it is rupees or dollars or euros. So let us say I am saying 200. Now without this, is there any value for the key figure? No, so that's what. So what is that now? So unit characters, what it will do, it will give value for the unit characters will give the value for what? For the key figure. So your unit characters will be giving the value for the key figure. So without a unit, there is no value for. That's right. So now what is that say? Wherever we use a key figure, yeah, yeah. Wherever you use a key figure, what happens? Yeah, unit character will follow the. So wherever I use a key figure, unit character will be always following the key figure. Okay, so like that. Now what are the unit characters here now? One is your unit of price, unit of quantity, then so while defining these, you have to create them as what? You have to define them as unit characters. Okay. You know what is unit characters now? Right. So wherever we use a key figure, a unit character will always follow the key figure. And last is what now? Time characters, right? So time characters will hold values related to, what is it? Date of transaction or year of transaction or month of transaction. Okay, time characters will be holding the values related to date, year, month. Understand? So like now what is the time character over here now? Like the date of transaction, year of transaction, month. So like that they are nothing but your time characters. Clear? So like that. So any info object that you create in BI side, it will be falling either of these four categories. Now you need to understand which category it falls into. Not only this, you consider any of your application. As I said, your database is built up of these four types of objects only. So let us say, like suppose you take any application, imagine a banking application. Now every month you'll get a statement from your bank. Statement is nothing but your monthly report. Okay? Or let us say salary slip. That is also kind of a report. You have data in the database. Reading from that, you are getting as a report. Now what this monthly statement or salary slip consists of? You can see suppose a monthly statement from a bank. You can see a box kind of thing. In that first you can see something like date of transaction. That is nothing but what? Time character. Right? Suppose particulars. What? Key figure. By the side of amount you can see rupees or INR or that is unit character. And your account number. That is, it may be a numeric value, but I cannot measure it. So there is nothing but your character. Understand? So what you are analyzing is a key figure. On what basis you analyze this key figure is nothing but a character. Here, what is info object and its types. Right. Any doubts to this? Any doubts as of now? Can I proceed further? Hello? Yeah? Tell me? Hello? Yeah. Yes. It's always true. All key figures are always its numeric value only. Okay. Hmm. So now, but when it comes to reporting part, behavior of key figure is a bit different compared to character. I'll show you that when I go to reporting. But actually key figure values means always, what is asking is, suppose I'm creating as a character and considering is a, loading the numeric values only, but I have defined as a character. So in reporting part, what has happened? So you can, using the key figures that you have, you can start creating some more for further key figures for analysis purpose also. Representation you can represent, but when I want to do some particular analysis on that, then that is not possible. Suppose now I have, let us say, imagine revenue. For revenue, let us say I want to calculate something called discounted revenue. If you have created as a character, now I cannot calculate the discounts and or whatever it is. I cannot do any further analysis. You can represent it, but using that particular object, if you want to do any further analysis, then that is not possible. Okay, we'll see that when I go with the reporting level. I'll show you what is the difference between a character and key figure. Okay? Right. Yeah, fine. Here, characters, key figures, unit, and second concept is clear. Then we'll move on to the third concept called types of data. Okay, types of data. So when I say types of data, remember, I am not speaking about data type. I am not speaking about data type. What is data type? Now let us say I am creating a character, whether it has to hold both alphabets as well as numerics or only numeric value, right? String or numeric, that is data type. Or let us say I am creating a key figure. Should I allow decimal places or only it should be a whole number? That is, data type defines what? What type of values this object has to hold. That is data type. I am not speaking about data type. I am speaking about the categorization of data itself. We are speaking about what? Categorization of data itself. Any idea about the types of data? Have you heard about primary and secondary data? Business and non-business data? Or let us say, come to the SAP terminology, what is that? So data is categorized into two categories. One is called master data and transaction data. The data is categorized into two types. One is master and second one is transaction. Okay? So what is master and what is transaction? Master data. See now? How is that see? The detailed level of information of character info object is called as master data. The detailed level of information of character info object is called as master data. Now, what is that see? This data is nothing to do with occurrence of the business. This is just the information that you are maintaining. That particular data is called as what? Master data. The detailed level of information of character info object. Now suppose, let us say, imagine data is like this. So let us say customer number, his name, address, city, right? Phone number, location, right? PIN code, fax number, clear? So is it something to do with happening of your business? This is just the information that you are maintaining about your customers. So that particular information is nothing but what? Your master data. So now, those who are already into SAP, like you are working on R3, you can select KNA1 tables, MARA, MARA, LFA1. All these are master tables or not. The information of customer, information of material, information of product, information of vendors. So that particular information, when you start your business, initially at the time of starting the business, you maintain some your, what is that? No, that's what I'm saying. The detailed level of information of character info object. What is that? Observe? Character info object. So information of customer. Customer is what? Character. Information of material. Information of product. Information of vendor. All these are what? So key figures will never have master data. And see, that's what, no? Information of your customer number is your primary key here. So and always remember, primary key is always it can be a character only. It cannot be a key figure, can never be a primary key. A character can be a primary key. So information of this primary key characters, that particular data is called as what? Master data. So that's what, no? So what we are saying? This data is nothing to do with, it's not related to happening of your business. It is the information that you are maintaining for your business. That particular information is called as what? That particular information is called as what? Master data. And what is that? Master data will not change. Will not change what? So master data will not change frequently. Is your name is going to change? How about address? Address may change, but will it change every day? It may be 6 months once or yearly once or. So this particular type of data is called as what? See now how you are going to maintain data in BF? First, you maintain all your information. Let us say that is what we call master tables. I have a number of master tables will be there. Okay? Right. Any doubts with master data now? Then, next is transaction data. So data related to what? Occurrence of the business. So data related to what? Occurrence of the business is called as transaction data. So when business happens, some data is getting updated into the database. That particular data is called as what? Yeah, tell me, Vinay. No, I said the primary key can never be a key figure. I can use a key figure in the master table. I'll come to that next. What I am saying, the primary key, I'll not have information of key figures. I am saying. I'm not saying that I cannot use a key figure in master table. Okay? Right. So data related to occurrence of the business is called as what? Transaction data. So when business is happening, some data is getting updated into the database. So that particular data is called as what? Transaction data. So let us say your bank balance. So for master data, what is the example I can use? Let us say your account number, name, address, city, postal code, telephone number, fax number. All this is the information of your customer, that is master data. And let us say to the transaction, what is that now? Your bank balance. When it is getting updated, balance. Whenever either you deposit the money or withdraw the money. Is getting updated or not? So that particular data is what? Transaction data. So when some transaction is happening, then only your data is getting updated into the database. So that particular data is called as what? Transaction data. Understand now? And what is that now? Transaction data changes. Your balance is going to change or not? Okay, your balance is going to change or not? When it is frequently it's changing, as and when you do the transaction, it gets updates or not? So, like that. So this particular data is called as the. So now, how you are storing data in BAC? I have one transaction table where my data stores. Okay? Then it will be surrounded with what? Your master tables. Let us say I am maintaining the information of customer, I am maintaining the information of material, information of product, information of vendor. First, you maintain all your master data. Now, when these two entities interact, let us say customer is buying a material. That's nothing but your business. Understand now? So generally, what you will do? Now you will take the primary keys of your master tables along with some key figures into one transaction table. Business data stores in the transaction table. Whenever it want information, it refers to which tables? Your master table. So now, how you are going to store data in BAC? I will be having one transaction table surrounded with what? Master tables. That is actually the schema design means. Next you will understand. We'll have one. Basically, we call it as a transaction data table, or you call it as a fact table. Then it will be surrounded with your master tables. Yes. Yes. Clear now? So what is master and what is transaction data is clear? So usually now when you are extracting your data to the BS side, it will be either of two categories. So what is that now? Identify what type of data we need to extract. So when you start extracting now, first you need to understand whether you are extracting master data or transaction data. Okay, first you need to understand, you need to identify what type of data that you are going to extract, master or transaction. So what is types of data is clear? One is master data and another one is transaction data. Then next, fourth concept what we are going to see, behavior of data. The next concept what we are going to see is the behavior of data. Okay, when we say behavior of data, what does behavior of data means? Yes. Okay. Behavior of data means, right, when we load some data to the database, when we load some particular data to the database, how data behaves at the database level. How data behaves at the database level, that is called as its behavior means. Okay, now see now. So first, what we are going to see, we are going to see behavior of master data. So let us say, imagine, let us say customer number and what? So I have some data now. One is customer number, another one is address. Okay, let us say you have loaded some data like this. C1 is from Bangalore. Imagine this data when I loaded 3 months back. C1 is from. Now, let us say today he is shifting from Bangalore to. So today what is the time loading? C1 is from Hyderabad. Now, which data it will consider in the database? Will it take as Bangalore or Hyderabad or both? Yes. What happens? Bangalore will be replaced with what? Yes or no? Right? So, what is now see? So, Bangalore is overwritten by, when you are loading now some same data to the database, what happens? It just gets overwritten. So, what is the behavior of master data now? It overwrites. So, technically speaking, okay, what does that say? Data in the master table overwrites. So technically speaking, okay, what is that? Master data gives what? Present truth. Master data gives present truth. At present, what is the value? What is the value at present? The value at present is what? C1 is from Hyderabad. That's why it gives what? The present truth. Okay? Right. So come to behavior of transaction data. Okay, let us say customer number and balance. Okay, now what is that? Let us say, imagine yesterday you went and transacted and let us say you deposited an amount of what? 10,000. So what is your balance now? Balance is 10,000. Okay. So again, today I am transacting again. Today I am depositing an amount of what? Now, what is your balance now? Is it overwriting? Is it overwriting? If it overwrites, what happens? 10 is overwritten by 5. That means your balance will become. Now, what is it not? Data in the transaction table, what happens? When you load same type of data, now what happens? It is going to data in the transaction table. What is it? Is additive, right? Adds up. So technically speaking, we will say transaction data gives what it gives is fact truth. Transaction data gives the fact. What is the fact? The fact is that you deposited an amount of 10 plus 5. That is totally. The fact is that you deposited an amount of 15,000. Right? So that's why its behavior is what is that now we call fact truth. So that's why we even call our transaction data table as the fact table. Why? Because its behavior is the fact table. They are called as facts. The key figures generally call it as what? Facts. Understand now? So what is the behavior of master table and master data and transaction data behavior is clear? Now, if you have understood behavior, one small question now. Vinay, you are coming up to your part. Sorry? It's overwriting, right? No. That is what it will not do, no? Suppose if you put time also from date to date, then it will maintain. That's what I'm saying. Same type of data if you are loading. When you say from January to June, he is in Bangalore. Then from July to December, he is in. Now that is not your same data now. Because I am putting the time also. You have something, next will come something called time dependent master data, time independent master data. Now let us know what is that now. This is time independent. I am not considering any time factor. Now what happens? Is it going to overwrite or not? That's why I am saying when you load same type of data to the database. Okay? Clear? Right. Now, any doubts from that side? Online people? Is it clear? Hello? Yeah, fine. Now, see now, one small thing, if you can observe, let us say this is what table now? This is your master table. Now, what you can see in master table, what is your primary key now? First one is, it's a, what type of info object? Character. So master table is always primary key. Any table primary key is always character. Key figure can never be a primary key as we said. Then, name is what? Name is character. Then, address, character, city, phone number is also, location, pin code, all these are. If you look at your master table, generally it is consisting of what? Master table. It's all consisting of character. Now my question is, can we have a key figure in the master table? Now, will system allow to use a key figure in master table? Now what we said, it's exactly contradictory, right? What we are saying, master data is not going to change frequently. But whereas when it comes to a key figure value, key figures are generally changing what? Frequently. That falls under what? Transaction data. But right now, what I am saying is, can I use a key figure in the master table or not? If you use, what is the difference? Now, if I can use, now either I can use it in a master table or I can use it in a transaction table. Now, if I use it in a master table, what happens? If I use it in a transaction table, what happens? How do you decide whether should I use it in a master table or transaction table? That's why I mainly focused on the behavior. Yes? Any guess? Any solution? First thing, yes or no? Can I use it or not? Yes. Yes? Answer is yes, we can use it. Then what is the impact now? What is the difference now? So what you are saying, the value which is not changing frequently, okay, you can, what she is saying, so she is saying like here, the girl sitting in front of me saying, the value which is not changing frequently, she is saying that we can use it in a, she is saying that we can use it in a master table. Now observe, suppose your salary, now your salary is fixed, let us say 5 lakhs per annum. Now is this changing now? It will not change frequently. Now, employee number, employee name, it's now what now? Master table. So, employee number is like, let us say, let us say, imagine this I am putting suppose something called as, or let us say imagine you don't have any month here. We'll see first without time independent I am saying, right? Now employee number is given, name is something, and last month let us say what is the salary that you got? What is it? 40,000. And let us say again this month you got a salary is what? Suppose some bonus you have got. Now, what is the total amount that you have received as your salary? If you use it in a master table, what happens? It's overwrites. What happens now? 40,000 becomes, but for you I have paid as a salary as of now is 85,000. What happens now? So can I use here? In this case, can I use it? No. Yes. Come to the other part now. Suppose same thing as just now given the example. Imagine, let us say the same balance I am using in a master table. Same balance. What happens? C1, let us say end of the day balance is what? 10,000. Again C1, let's say deposited what? Now what happens? 10 is overwritten by same value. So now, what is the problem? Actually your balance is. So in this case, can I use it here? No. Now come to the other example. Suppose I have something called material number and what is that? Price. So let us say this is your material number where I am using right now. Imagine in your fact table. Right now I am using the material number right now in transaction table. Fact table is nothing but your. So now let us say yesterday your price was 100 and today it has changed from 100 to what? 150. Now, what is the behavior I said now? Transaction table? Additive. Now, if you develop a report material and price, what happens? 100 plus 150. What happens? Now, is it correct? Actually, the price is now only. So now, can I use price now in the transaction table? No. Because its value. Now suppose same thing, imagine instead of using in a fact table where I am using now, what happens? 100 is overwritten by. Now if you develop a report also, what is the data you are getting? Now in this case, can I use price in that? Is it correct? Now where I have to use price now? In the master table or transaction table? If I am using in a master table, you are getting correct value. If you are using in a transaction table, there is. Now still, even though I don't want to use it in master table, I want to use it in transaction table itself. Suppose I don't want in master table, now I want to use it in the fact table only. So now, what is it now? Material number 1, yesterday's date it is 100, today's date it is. Now 2 records are there. Right? When you storage is maybe 2 records, but when I am speaking, when it's saying it's additive means, when you develop the report it shows as 100 plus 150 is ultimately 250. But now while creating this price, I will say don't sum up, and I'll say let us say take the last value. What is the last value now? So in the report what it will show? That means it's not that. What we said, all the key figures in the transaction table, what is that it is going, behavior is what? Additive. So there are some key figures which should not add up in the transaction table. There are some key figures which should not add up in your transaction table. So these type of key figures, you are defining them as what? Non-cumulative key figures. So I have some option called non-cumulative key figures. So these non-cumulative key figures, what it will do? It will not be adding up in the transaction table. You can say, what is that now? Take the first value or last value, refer to date. Date means first value becomes like yesterday's, last value becomes today's. So when you say non-cumulative key figure, you have to specify with refer to what? First value or last value means with respect to date or month. If you say last value means last value of the month. First value means first value of the month. Like that. Understand the logic? So what is that now? Why I am focusing you on the behavior is, to make you to understand what is that? Non-cumulative key figures. What are non-cumulative key figures? So these non-cumulative key figures, what happens? So these non-cumulative key figures will not add up in the transaction table. So one example for non-cumulative key figure, what I have shown is? What we have shown is? Price. Now let us see some other examples you can put like this. Imagine date and let us say what is that? End stock. Stock available in the inventory. Okay, so end of 0702, the stock available in the inventory is some 1000. Then suppose end of 82, the stock available in the inventory is Now if you develop a report, I am saying report, I want entire stock. I am not seeing a report with respect to date. Let us say my report is only stock. Now what is the stock now? If you say what happens, 1000 plus 500, it will be by default summation. It will show as what? 1500, but actually my stock is, now while creating this stock, I will say take it as a non-cumulative key figure with respect to date, and I will say last value. Now when you develop a report, what is the last value now? This is the last entry, right? 82. So what is the last value now? Available is right now 500. Clear? So like that. So some key figures should not add up in your transaction table. So those things you will take it as a non-cumulative, or let us say number of employees. Year 2009, my strength in my organization was from 10,000. By the end of year 2010, the strength in the organization is 15,000. So what is the strength in my organization now? It's not 25, it is 15. There I'll say, right, non-cumulative key figure, last value with respect to year. Clear? Default option will be summation only. Any key figure that you create, default will be it's always summation. So to avoid that, so if you want to use it the transaction table, but it should not sum up, so then we'll change the behavior of that. Clear? Yeah. Any doubts with this part? The behavior and non-cumulative key figures concept? Vinay? Huh? No, tell me, Srinivas. Reporting level. Suppose if in the database itself you load, suppose imagine, entire values is same, so the database level itself it will add up. So now these are the values are different, right? So then it will be separate records. It depends upon the report that you are developing, the addition takes place. Suppose in the report, yeah, tell me. Suppose if you, tell me. So, but suppose if your report is like date and stock, then what happens? Separately it will show. But imagine your report is like aggregated report. You want only stock, or let us say month-wise stock. Again, it will add up and represent. Yeah, tell me now. Database. Yes, you can see two records in the database, but when you develop a report, but in the database also, so every values are same. Entire characteristic values are same. Suppose date is there. If entire value is same, again what happens? It will add up. Again, according to the report that you are developing, there it will again. So in the database, if this is your data, you can see two records. But when you develop a report, clear? Yeah, Srinivas, is it clear? How about Vinay? See, when you maintain now in master table, so what is asking, why should I take it in a transaction table, right? Why can't I use it in the master table? So now master tables, generally like what happens? Can you maintain now history now? It's going to overwrite. So generally, when you develop a report, usually it will be on your transaction table only. You will not be maintaining the in your master table. Generally, it will not have any history. You will not maintain the very rare cases only. You will maintain the. You will make it as time dependent. Clear? So that's why. So generally, like this type, we will be using it in the transaction table itself. Okay. Whenever you develop a report, generally your report will be on your transaction table only. So there will be a connectivity between transaction table and master table. So through that connection, it will go on with the here performance issue also will come. If you maintain in a master table, what happens? Report is developed on your transaction, that is your cube. So it has to go and fetch the data from master table. So it takes preferably longer time. So that's why generally to maintain the history of all those things, you will be using it in a transaction table. Clear, Vinay? Okay, fine. So we are going to stop it today. So tomorrow we will discuss another two more concepts are there and BI database design. Yeah, some doubt. That you have to do. By default it is summation. So when you got a key figure, so you have to analyze. You need to understand what's it, how it behaves in the transaction term. See, normally when you speak about non-cumulative key figures, so generally it will be like basically you can it in HR and inventory. Basic major things, like numbers. When you deal with numbers, so there generally you come here. But when it is amount or quantity or something, it's always maximum is summation only. But when you deal with the numbers, there's a problem arises. Yes, 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 yes. Based upon that is what comes under here. Okay. All right.